Hello, human beings, and welcome back to your meditation practice. My name is Bee, and I am so happy to be joining you again today for another week of meditation. In our practice last week, we worked on sending gratitude to different points of the body. And that is particularly helpful when we're experiencing physical or emotional pain. And if that's you today and you haven't gotten a chance to do the meditation, I encourage you to go back and do it. So to open up our practice today, I'm going to read you a passage from the Pocket Pema Chodron. And I really wish I remembered where I got this or who gave this to me, because I use it all the time. But essentially it's a compilation of a lot of Pema Chodron's work from her books, from her talks, etc. I'm reading you a passage that's titled "Perfection is like Death." Here we go. We think that if we just meditated enough or jogged or ate perfect food, everything would be perfect. But from the point of view of someone who is awake, that's death. Seeking security or perfection, rejoicing in feeling confirmed and whole, self-contained and comfortable, is some kind of death. It doesn't have any fresh air. There's no room for something to come in and interrupt all that. We are killing the moment by controlling our experience. Doing this is setting ourselves up for failure, because sooner or later we're going to have an experience that we can't control. Our house is going to burn down, someone we love is going to die, we're going to find out we have cancer, or somebody's going to spill tomato juice over our white suit. The essence of life is that it's challenging. Sometimes it's sweet, and sometimes it's bitter. Sometimes your body tenses, and sometimes it relaxes or opens. Sometimes you have a headache, and sometimes you feel 100% healthy. From an awakened perspective, trying to tie up all the loose ends and finally get it together is death, because it involves rejecting a lot of your basic experience. There is something aggressive about that approach to life, trying to flatten out all of the rough spots and imperfections into a nice, smooth ride. To be fully alive, fully human, and completely awake is to be continually thrown out of the nest. To live fully is to be always in no man's land, to experience each moment as completely new and fresh. How often we live out of the present moment and into this unpredictable future, thinking that if we had this or if we just did that, we would suddenly be happy. But we know from our experience that, well, once we get this and once we get that, we're moving on to the next thing. So what if we really tried our best today in our practice to be in the present moment, as uncomfortable as we might feel, as much as we might be desiring something in the future? What if we took time just to really be here right now and experience the little joys of this moment? It's worth a try. So we'll begin our practice today in a comfortable seat. You can sit up on a cushion, on a chair. If you're on the floor on a cushion, I would encourage legs loosely crossed in front of you or tucked behind you. If you're on a chair, 2 feet planted firmly on the ground. And as you find your seat, really settle in so that you have a sturdy base beneath you. Your hands can rest down on the legs, encouraging the shoulders to be heavy down away from the ears. And keeping the spine long, the back of the neck even longer. The chin bows down toward the chest slightly. And from here, your gaze can either be cast down at the floor if you choose to keep eyes open. If you'd like to close your eyes, you know what that feels like. And as always, we just use this first moment to arrive in our body. Noticing the shape that your body takes for practice. Maybe even how it feels to sit still. And if we're experiencing any initial discomfort, the goal is not to force it away, even though we'd like that. The goal is just to give it a little bit of fresh air, a little bit of breathing room. And it's kind of nice thinking that we don't have to do anything about it. We can be with it and still meditate. So feeling the body in space, and then shifting your attention toward the feeling of the breath in the body. And noticing where the breath is currently living. You might take a few deep breaths in through the nose, out of the mouth, to really just solidify that you're here. You've made it. And then just allowing the breath to flow naturally. Again, there's nothing you have to do, zero force or effort. You just allow the breath to flow. And it might be just a few moments here in practice before you notice that the mind is not physically present with you. Maybe all that talk about the future or your desires transported your mind elsewhere. If that's the case, can you take a moment to reel it back in? Refocus your attention onto the breath. And to keep the mind focused on the breath to the best of our ability, we'll practice using a counting technique today. So how this will work is you'll count every cycle of breath that you take. So you can think inhale, exhale, 1. Inhale, exhale, 2. And you'll count all the way up to 10. If you get there, great. If not, great. Once you get to 10, you'll start over again. If you lose count, you'll start over again. So there's no reward for making it to 10. But hopefully this helps the mind in some way to focus. And you can begin counting the breath whenever you're ready. Thinking inhale, exhale, 1. Inhale, exhale, 2. you've lost count of the breath, no big deal. Just using this moment in time to jump back in, start over if you need to. We'll just be here for a few more moments. Just reminding yourself it's okay to start over. It's okay to lose count. You can always begin again. And then from here, I'll ask that you actually do lose the count and just return to the natural flow of the body breathing. And as we start to make our way out of practice, just recognizing that this is a practice. There's no way to perfect it. Otherwise, it would not be sustainable. And when you're officially ready, you can open your eyes or raise your gaze and start to come back into the room. Amazing job. Thank you so much for your practice today. It is such a nice and gentle reminder that when we practice, we're not trying to get better. There's really nothing to get better at. What we're doing is getting more comfortable with not having it all figured out, getting more comfortable with our mind getting distracted, but feeling empowered that we can always refocus the mind on the breath. That's the tool that is always in our toolbox. I hope that the rest of your day is absolutely wonderful. Just reminding you that I release a new meditation on YouTube every single Monday. If you are interested in practicing with me more, I offer a yoga and meditation monthly and yearly membership on my website. Feel free to check it out, and I look forward to seeing you next week.